exponents. Well, you know what? Okay, so the exponent has there's a base part that's usually down on the bottom. This would be the base, and it's raised to a power. So this is a superscript 5. So the base raised to the power.
All right, so we've got to be really careful with negatives. So for instance, in this first example, what we're actually doing is we're taking -3 times a -3, right? -3 squared, that's going to give you a positive 9. Here, however, we've got a -3 squared. You can think about it like this. -3 squared, and that's going to be a -9. So be really careful on quizzes and homework or whatever, where this negative sign is, whether it's inside parentheses or not.
I see that a lot of students will goof that up on their calculator too. You know, they'll forget whoa. So they'll say, well, I want to do -3 squared, this one, so they'll go -3 and then squared, but it's going to give you a -9 and give you the wrong number.
Yep.
Especially when you're tutoring the younger dudes, they're going to make that mistake a lot. All right, well, I'm sorry, man, I'm losing it here. There we go. So multiplying with exponents. So first thing we want to do is just take care of the number part of this. I call it a number part. You'd probably call it a coefficient part or something. So I'm going to go 5 times 3 is 15. So just get that out of the way. And then we have x times x squared. So it's x times x squared. So that's 3x's or x cubed. In other words, you add the powers. 1 plus 2 is 3. So 1 plus 2 more makes 3. And so then we have y to the 4th and y to the 5th. If you're multiplying, you add the powers, so y to the 9th.
Okay, so here we've got, maybe blue or something. So here we've got a similar situation, except instead of multiplying, we're dividing. And division is just the opposite of multiplication, so we're going to subtract the powers. So I first look at the power on this y here. Let's look at that real quick. That's a 1, right? If there's no power written, it's y to the 1. Let's do the x's first. So if I want to figure out what this is going to be, I'm going to take x squared, that's a 2, subtract a -3. So real quick, x squared minus a -3, I think that's going to be x to the 6th, right?
No, 5th.
Oh, I know how to add. 5th. X to the 5th. Okay? And then if I take y to the -4, let's go down here, y to the -4, minus 1, y to the -4 minus 1, that's going to be y to the -5th, yeah? Okay, y to the -5th.
Okay, now that's a good answer, right? What do a lot of math teachers want you to do?
They're going to want to you're going to want to move this to x to the 5th over y to the 5th, yeah?
Yeah, in other words, if it's got a negative power, stick it in the opposite location.
Right.
If it's in the top, put it in the bottom, make it a +5. If it was on the bottom, stick it in the top.
Mm-hmm.
All right. For some reason, that concept is tough. So if you have a question, ask us, okay? All right, so I've got something raised to a negative power. I'm going to get rid of that negative power because that bothers me. So I'm going to take this thing, and I'm going to flip over the inside. So 5 over a cubed, and it's raised to the +4 now. All I did was flip it, and now I've got a +4. So 5 to the 4th power, didn't we agree that was 625?
I think so.
All right, and then I have a cubed raised to the 4th power. If you have a power raised to the power, you multiply them. So it's a to the 12th. Again, power raised to a power, you multiply those two. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think
This
that was
really
good.
doesn't look like an A, but it is.
Yeah, besides the fact.
Feel like if you're from the UP, eh? All right, thanks for taking our class.